Today, President Trump made headlines again when he announced that the United States will be meeting with Russia soon. This announcement stirred up a lot of attention, especially from reporters who were quick to jump in with questions. The mood was a bit tense as reporters tried to get answers from the president about what this meeting means for the ongoing conflicts and tensions between the two countries. Trump was asked about possible tariffs on countries buying Russian energy, including China, but his answer was vague. He didn't give a clear percentage but said that some action would be taken soon. It seemed like he wanted to keep things open and flexible depending on what happens in the next few days. Trump also pointed out that the meeting with Russia was happening the very next day and that they would see what happens. He didn't want to reveal too much in advance but made it clear that decisions will be made soon. This shows that there's still a lot of uncertainty around this issue and how the US plans to handle its relationship with Russia going forward. The president's style here was calm but firm, making it clear that he's in control but also keeping options open. One of the most important things Trump emphasized during this press interaction was his view of the war in Ukraine. He said it's Biden's war, meaning he believes the current president is the one responsible for the US involvement. Trump insisted that he's trying to get the US out of the conflict as quickly as possible. He pointed out that he has already stopped several wars in the last few months and wants this one to be the next. This message was repeated a few times, showing that ending wars and bringing soldiers home is something he really wants to focus on. Even though Trump was asked tough questions, especially about the human cost of the Ukraine conflict, he stuck to his message. He wanted people to know that he's working hard to get the US out of the war and that this is not a fight he wants the country to be involved in any longer. A reporter asked President Trump a serious question about Ukraine's military. The reporter mentioned that Ukraine recently allowed people over 60 years old to serve in the military and that there have been disturbing videos of young men being forced to fight. There was even a mention of a young man with Down syndrome serving on the front lines. This brought up a tough question: if the Ukrainian military is using elderly and vulnerable people, why should Americans keep funding this war? Trump's response was direct. He said that this is Biden's war, and that he wants to get the US out of it. He suggested that the war shouldn't have happened in the first place and that if he had been president, it never would have started. This statement is his way of putting the blame on the current administration, while highlighting his efforts to avoid conflict. He also pointed out the many wars he says he stopped in just the last few months, mentioning India and Pakistan as examples. According to Trump, those conflicts were resolved quickly and without prolonged fighting. The way he talks about it shows that he wants to be seen as a peacemaker who keeps America out of foreign fights. This part of the exchange is important because it highlights how Trump tries to shape the story around the Ukraine war. Instead of focusing on the details of the conflict itself, he focuses on his role in stopping wars and wanting peace. He clearly wants viewers to think of him as someone who is working to bring soldiers home and stop the US from being involved in endless wars. The discussion also revealed how complicated the Ukraine situation is. The fact that the Ukrainian military is recruiting older people and forcing young men to fight shows how desperate things are. This raises questions about the future of the war and how the US should respond. Trump's message is clear: the US should pull back and stop funding this conflict because it's causing too much suffering. Throughout the press conference, reporters were eager to ask questions, sometimes even interrupting each other to get the president's attention. This caused some tension in the room, with a few moments feeling a little chaotic. Many viewers noticed this and commented on how the reporters were almost duking it out to be heard. However, there was no real fight, just a scramble to ask questions. Some of the comments online joked about how the word duke usually means a fight, but in this case, it was more like a competition among reporters. Others said they wished there had been an actual fistfight because the scene was so intense. Still, many praised President Trump for staying calm and collected even when the reporters were pushing hard. The media's behavior here gives us a glimpse into how high-pressure press conferences can be. Reporters want to get the best questions in, especially when the topic is as important as a potential meeting with Russia and the future of the Ukraine war. At the same time, the president has to control the conversation and deliver his message clearly. The public's reaction to this event was mixed. Some people supported Trump and believed he is the best person to handle these difficult talks. They praised him for wanting peace and trying to stop wars. Others were more skeptical, pointing out that the situation is very complicated and that promises of peace don't always work out easily. In the end, this press conference showed how tense and uncertain things are right now. The meeting with Russia could change a lot, but no one knows exactly what will happen. What's clear is that the US is at a crossroads, and the choices made in the next few days could affect not only America but the whole world.